information. But what I do know is how critical the believers are, how critical saints are sometimes. So they see you walking out of some place, have no idea how God has used you in that place. All they see is, I saw him coming out of that place. You don't know, maybe God was using him in that place. It's very quiet in the virtual church tonight. I think that we have to be okay with our sons and daughters infiltrating some of these mountains and knowing that we've given them such an anchor and such a foundation that everything doesn't have to sound like the songs we sang. Everything doesn't have to have the same sanctified beat that you become accustomed to. And that does not take us outside of holiness. And I know a lot of people are screaming out, it's holiness or hell. Yeah. And a lot of y'all that's hollering that is going. That's the part that gets me. That we can be so dogmatic about things that mean nothing, yet violate some of the greatest commandments that God has ever given in his word, was one is love your neighbor as yourself. You can't scream at the sinner until you can have fellowship with a person who's professing the same Christ you're professing. I don't need you to come after that young girl because her skirt's too short when you can't even go across town and have service at another man's church. When y'all can't be in the same room, I don't want to hear your message about they shouldn't have all them earrings in their ears. One is enough. One is too much. And they got I saw him with a tattoo on his wrist. And I don't want to hear your message until you can forgive the man that you say stole your members. Y'all don't want the man to preach today. Now, when you can get over that, and you can start having harmony and fellowship and showing the real love of Christ, then maybe we can talk about other stuff that's on your mind. But right now, I know what you're doing is you're using the light to divert from yourself. You're shining the light on everything else that doesn't matter so nobody can see how dark you are. I want the man with the flashlight in his hand to turn it on himself and make sure that we are being the light to the world. Amen, somebody. Let me run through these things. I only got like a couple seconds here to finish this out. Hope you guys got getting something out of this. Now, I want to go back over the definition we used on Sunday for influencer. One, having the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of another. A person of persuasion with the ability to lead others without the use of threat, trickery, manipulation, or deceit. I want to hang there for about maybe 60 seconds. That if you've got to beat your way into people's hearts, if you've got to use constraint to lead, then you're not a leader. You're not an influencer. If people are following you out of fear, and people are submitting to your authority to avoid shame, embarrassment, or cruelty, then you're not an influencer. An influencer is a person who does not use threat, trickery, deceit, or manipulation to get people to listen to them. It is a person who is likable. We talked about that Sunday, likability. People do need to like you. Now, it's sad when you get so to the point where you're so arrogant that you don't care if nobody likes you. Now, I don't care if everybody don't like me, right? Like, I'm not trying to be everybody's friend. But if don't nobody like me, I'm gonna do inventory, right? I'm gonna slow down and say, now hold on. I looked at a post today, and I meant to repost it, and it said, this post was put up on July 26th. Today is August, 10th? Today is the 10th. So you do the math. July 28th, this post went up. It says, I don't have many friends. Watch this. Hey, friends. And it had 2 comments. So from July 28th to August 10th, only 2 people said, hey, back. So I'm petty. I didn't do it, but I started saying, see? But anyway, they said, I don't have any friends. Watch this. So now, I'm going to be a little concerned. I don't have to have 200 hays, but I want a little more than 2. I care enough like Jesus did. Jesus said to the disciples, whom do men say that I am? Jesus did an inventory. Jesus checked up on his reputation. He said, who do men say I am? They said, some say you John the Baptist, whatever. He said, okay, who do you say I am? So he brought it closer home. It's important that we are making an impression and that we're making impact. You can't walk around telling me you don't care about nobody. I don't care if anyone like me. So no. Calm that all down. Something's wrong with your personality, and you're not going to be good for the kingdom. You can't be an asset to the kingdom if nobody likes you. Number 2, an influencer must have passion. Passion brings on commitment. An influencer must have the ability to engage, right? Authenticity. A mind for marketing. Now, that's something that the church, thank God we're getting better at it. But for a long time, that wasn't a big part of it. In some places, it's still not a part of the budgets. In some places, people are still not understanding the importance of publishing what God is doing. That's why media and communication is such a big part of our church. Because it's one of our, and we've been fought tooth and nail for years in the realm of the spiritual realm against us being able to launch what we need to launch. Now, we've got to sort of combat these things at this point because God has favored us. So now it's time for us to say, you know what? We're going to go ahead and push forward in that area. Jesus said, if I be lifted up from the earth, I will draw all men to me. How do we lift Jesus? We can't physically lift him up, but we can put him on billboards. We can put him on television. We can put him on the radio. We can put him on signage. We can make sure that we preach the gospel in every aspect of media, print media, social media, TV, radio. We can pump on, just like the world system of marketing and advertising, finds out what you like, does the research, and then targets you. That's why when you go on Facebook and you just look at one time, you look at a car, a certain kind of car, the next day you go, next minute almost, they got all kind of advertisements about the car you like. And you're wondering how they know. Like the little girl in the commercial where her dad puts it up to McDonald's and he said, oh, they're suggesting that we get a cinnamon roll with their frappe. She said, Daddy, how did they know we like? And then they go past the windmills. She said, well, Daddy, how does the windmills get energy to people's house? And then they go by, they're watching Hulu. And she's saying, Daddy, how can we watch this in real time? Because they know, they watch your trends, and then they put together a package just for you, and you find yourself click, 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 and the more you click and show what you like, the more they advertise. But we as a church are the opposite. We find out what people like and say, so what? We ain't doing that. We ain't having that. Too much like the world. Don't bring that into God's house. Like, there's so many ideas I've had about doing things in our building that I know some people will be like, I won't even get into some of the ideas I've had. Even as a child, a teenager in the church, I had so many ideas and I got criticized. I got rebuked. I got set down. I got told, that ain't God. Like, okay. I thought it was God gave it to me. You mean to tell me the devil is telling me stuff that's going to build a kingdom? You mean Satan's coming to me as much as he hate the kingdom, saying, if you do that, you'll draw more people? I do, really? But that's the mindset of so many people. All right, let me get through this quick because my time is running out. Authority. Got to move in authority as influencer. You must be an authority on what you're teaching. In other words, you got to know what you're talking about, period. Visibility is important. Creativity is important. Consistency, relatability, and responsiveness. All these make a good influencer. Influence.